Hello, family. Welcome back to Bex Flavor. I hope that you are all doing very well. Today, I want to share with you this amazing dish called Etor. Etor is a Ghanaian dish which is usually eaten when people are celebrating something, okay? But today, we are just celebrating life. If you're interested to find out, stay tuned and let's get started. So here are the ingredients that I will be needing to make my etor. I will be needing some ripe plantain and some green plantains as well. You can just use just the yellow one or just the green one, it's up to you. Then I'm going to be using some eggs as well, and I'm going to be having some peanut butter, some onions, a stock cube and some salt and some scotch bonnet, and then some fermented fish as well. I'm also going to be using some palm nut oil, which is of course used when you're making etor. Okay, I will explain all the little bits and hints later on as we go on in the video. So to get started, all I'm going to be doing is to put my plantains in a pan and just boil it, okay? But before I do that, I'm just going to remove the skin of the plantains, and then I am going to boil this together until it is nice and soft. Some people use only the yellow plantain, so the ripe plantain, and it becomes very sweet and soft. Some people use yam. Yes, you can also use yam to do so, but I'm using the ripe and the green plantain because it's very nice. So I've just finished doing that, and I'm just going to add some water and some salt to taste, and I'm going to bring this to a boil until it's nice and soft. And then I'm going to be adding in my eggs to cook as well, and this is just to garnish later because typically you would eat it all with some eggs. Okay, I'm going to cover this up and allow this to cook. Now for my fermented fish, I am going to be putting this on the fire. If you do not have like a gas cooker like mine, you can still put it on any sort of cooker that you have. To minimize the smell and the smoke, I am going to be wrapping this into some foil. I'm going to wrap it tightly so that the smoke doesn't really escape from it, and then I'm going to be placing this on my fire directly, and this will ensure that it doesn't smell a lot when you're sort of roasting or baking it, because otherwise the scent, oh my gosh, okay. But do this trick to ensure that it's going to roast nicely and the smell is going to be nice and contained, and also make sure that you flip it around every now and then. So on to the next step. I have got my chopped onions in my earthenware. If you don't have an earthenware to grind this in, you can just blend this, okay, and then just put it in a bowl and then mash everything together with the plantain. But typically this is done in a earthenware. I am going to be grinding this all together. I've added some salt, some scotch bonnet, and I'm just going to be grinding this together until it's nice and smooth. So of course I have to have, well, you kind of have to add in some peanut butter. You can add just the normal peanut or the peanut paste, which I like to do, and I'm going to grind this together until everything is nicely combined and it's nice and smooth. So after this is done, my fermented fish is nicely roasted. So I'm going to be taking this carefully out of my foil. Just please be careful when you're taking this out because the foil is very hot. Okay, so please take care that you don't burn yourself. And as you can see how nicely it has roasted. It's got all the char on it, which you really want because you want to taste all the char and the saltiness and everything in the fermented fish in your etor. Okay, so I'm just going to be adding this in the blended peppers and the peanut paste as well. Then I'm just going to grind everything together, ensuring that it is nice and smooth. If there are any sort of bones and bits in, please kindly remove this out, otherwise you might choke on it later. So now I'm going to be adding some palm oil onto the pan, and I'm just going to allow this to heat up for about a minute or two. You don't want this to overheat, otherwise it's going to be smoky and you don't like that, okay? Now that my plantains are also nicely boiled, I am going to be grinding this in the pepper mix that I've just grinded. Now, this is really important that you do this, okay? You have to grind this while the plantains are still hot. If you don't grind it while it's still hot, once you do so, you're going to have lumps and sort of bumps in your etor, but you want your etor to be nice and smooth. So while it's still hot, I recommend that you mash this up nicely in your earthenware. Now, if you don't have an earthenware at this point, you can just blend your peppers and your onions and everything in a blender, put this in a bowl, and then you can just mash it up with like a potato masher or anything that you can use to mash this up. You don't want to blend this because you don't want the soup. You just want to mash it nicely together so that it is smooth in consistency. So all I'm going to be doing now is just to ensure that everything is blending together nicely. So I will just use a spatula to just bring everything together, and then making sure that I am grinding this nice and smoothly while the plantain is still hot. So now that I've managed to grind everything together nice and smoothly, it is time to add in my palm oil. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to be adding in my palm oil for a nice color and of course for a nice taste as well. So I'm just going to be pouring this in, and then I will be slowly and gradually mixing this together. Okay, just be careful because you might splash yourself with it. So just grind it nice and slow so that everything can mix nicely together. You can add more or less palm oil as you so desire, but typically Etor has this nice yellowy color from the palm oil, so and it makes it taste nice. Okay, so do use that. Hey, it's a celebration meal, you only live once, celebrate life. Okay, so after the palm oil has nicely mixed together in the plantain, your etor is basically ready. It is done, and typically you would eat etor with some avocado, but back home we call it pear, and you will also have some peanut on top of it. Now, if there are no peanuts on my etor, I am not involved. Yes, we added some peanut butter when we were mixing it, but you still need some extra peanut on top of your etor because that's just the way it goes. Okay, and then you will add in your eggs, and it is so good. Children can eat this, adults can eat this, you can eat this any time of the day and you will never get tired of this. You know, I like mine typically a little bit on the sweeter side, so I use more of the ripe plantains, but when you're making it you can sort of gauge and see how you like it. Do you want it on the sweeter side, or do you want it sort of more on the green plantain side? It's totally up to you. But yes, here we are, more peanuts and everything else. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up, comment below and let me know what you think about this meal. And don't forget to share. Thank you. See you later. Bye.